Hi there. In this lecture we see Eduard Gufeld against Mikhail Tal. So Gufeld was later to become a grandmaster, very, very strong player. So this was as juniors competing, very nostalgic, in 1954. E4 from Gufeld, we see E5, knight F3, knight C6, the Roy Lopez, A6, bishop A4, knight F6, and now white castles, bishop E7, and here white actually plays bishop takes C6, the delayed exchange variation. So giving up the light square bishop means this bishop is without a counterpart, and from my experience of even neural network games, this can be a lethal weapon sometimes, the bishop without a counterpart. And you know, you can expect almost disasters on light squares sometimes later in such games. D takes, we have knight takes E5. This is interesting. Maybe this is not as solid as playing D3. For example, knight D7, black has to try and defend E5, bishop E3, B6, knight C3, and this position, you know, would seem as soon as C5 is played to stop D4, the knight can just go back later with a very nice position. It's equal though, you know, it's about equal. But that is a way of playing it. Here, it seems as though it's like opening the position with black having the bishop pair to some extent. And Tal actually opens it up more. So knight takes E4, queen E2, the knight retreats. So rook E1. These bishops are very, very nice here. This bishop pair, bishop E6 is played. So shielding the E7 bishop. There's a tactical point being made here. If black routinely castled, then knight takes C6, and then queen takes E7 is possible. And if rook E8, you know, queen takes D8, pins the rook. So yeah, there's a tactical point. So a shield is put up with bishop E6 here. So we have knight C3. Here, it's also interesting to consider D4. Perhaps black can play knight F5, and this position, black seems to have a small edge. So that's an interesting way of playing things as well. Okay, but let's get back to the game. Knight C3. The problem with this, it seems knight F5, and it looks kind of nice to be able to perch knight on D4 with tempo. A nice central knight. Knight E4. Perhaps better here was B3, and if knight D4, at least white can fianchetto the bishop, and maybe later that's a target. But with knight E4, it seems as though Tal's got an easy game here with the bishop pair, and now perches the knight comfortably with tempo, and now kicks this advanced knight back to C4. Queen D7, so preparing to build up. It seems as though this is an unfortunate position for white, because anytime C3 is played, then the frontal pressure on D3 is going to be increased. But C3 is played, knight F5, queen E2, and actually rook Fe8. In this position, for the record, it looks as though, is white really up to something with this battery? Is there some tactic with the knight on the bishop? Actually, as well as Tal's move rook Fe8, rook AD8, there's actually no problem with it in terms of the E6 bishop. For example, if knight takes F6 check, we just play rook takes F6, defending E6. The more kind of subtle looking knight G5, actually we just ignore that. We just take on C4 here, and we've just won a piece. This is desperate. We just won a piece basically. So yeah, it is actually possible in this position to play rook AD8. But it does seem as though, you know, Tal's move rook Fe8 is a little bit more, you know, safeguarded for any naughty business against the queen and rook here. But also, more significantly than that, it's pointing at material rather than just the d pawn, which is interesting. It's trying to get quite a nasty pin here, it seems, as well, trying to get white's battery to kind of backfire. And here, D4, we have now bishop D5, and it looks as though white, the outcome here is that white's going into a nasty pin. We have bishop F4. If knight cd2, black is in the driving seat here, it seems, with knight h4. For example, knight g6, taking on e4, and then, you know, bishop f6, hitting the queen, d4's weak. So somehow, yeah, white's position is slipping here. On knight g3, bishop f8, this is also kind of pleasant with the bishop pair. Black is positionally better, but it's not the end of the world just yet. But white plays now bishop f4, and this pin implication, this simple pin implication, seems to be backfiring on white heavily after bishop d6. We have queen g4, which makes things a lot worse. Knight c takes d6, though, knight takes, and this is unfortunate after bishop takes, rook takes e4, big advantage to black. Yeah, this is just very, very nice, winning that pawn. If bishop takes d6, then black just plays rook takes e4 and knight takes d6, and it's snapping up a piece basically. Thanks very much. So yeah, but queen g4 also doesn't really help. Tal takes on e4, rook takes e4, bishop takes e4, and the snag is after bishop takes d6. Here it is. For 200 points, what would you play with black? Tal plays the most precise move in this situation. What do you think that is? Okay. Bishop d5, hitting the knight on c4, yeah. Leaving white struggling. If c takes d6, there's a weakness of the last move. White could pounce into b6 with advantage, crushing, or equality if we have to go in that route. h5, and then this situation is about equal, but that's not pleasant. No, bishop d5 is the move. It leaves two pieces hanging. We have knight e3, and now again bishop e6, big threat of knight takes e3. So white's material loss is inevitable. This doesn't help. If knight takes f5, bishop takes f5, this situation is a piece up. So yeah, d5 though doesn't help, just c takes. Knight takes f5 is played. Bishop takes f5, queen f3. And Tal actually cutely plays bishop e4 with taking the bishop next. Also, of course, you know, c takes is also a bishop up. It doesn't really help black. So yeah, this was the end of the game. A light square disaster indeed through that e-file. So some tactical backfire here, because white was, it seemed, trying to play for tactics on the e-file. But black fundamentally does have the bishop power out of the opening. So the notion of opening up the center, he's sometimes going to have a side effect of liberating even more the bishops. It was a dangerous concept from the outset, white's opening strategy here. It had to be played with the correct follow-up. Okay, have you got some points from this? Thanks so much. Hi there. Thanks for getting to the end of the YouTube video. If you would like to see other Mikhail Tal games, I actually have an amazing course for Mikhail Tal, which is currently at 4.9 with over 400 students. You can check this out from the Kingscrusher TV page. So Chess Strategy and Tactics, Mikhail Tal's amazing games. You can check out some free preview videos as well here. If you do expand all sections, you can see the preview links to get some free previews. So I hope you do check out this course index and the free previews. So I really had a thrilling time actually checking out Mikhail Tal's games. So yeah, the YouTube video here you saw was just a sample from this course. I hope you check it out. Okay, thanks so much. Oh, by the way, comments, questions, likes, shares, all appreciated. And if you did get to this part of the video, please do leave some sort of comment like Tal fan. Okay, thanks again.